My name is Tali Blank, and I'm a Cornell postdoc student. Looking at the startup failure rate and knowing the struggle that founders face on a daily basis, getting a negative feedback on their idea, on their product, on their team, on their strategy, everywhere. So I got to the point to ask why people do that. And the second question that I wanted to look into my research is, do different type of motivation influence success? So these are the things that were actually the motivation to my research. And to do these, to answer this question, we connected to the iLab, Harvard University Innovation Lab. And based on a sample of 75 teams, comprised 178 individuals, we actually explore these questions, and what we found is really amazing stuff. So the first thing is, first of all, we discovered that there are two major motivations for founders to start a company. The first motivation is about motivation to give. Founders want to do something for other people. They feel compassion, they have social vision. They want to help others, to solve other people's problems. So they start a new company. The other type of motivation is motivation to take. People do it for their selfish goal. So they want to have money, to have fun, to enjoy, to learn. So these are two types of motivation. And what we found is that teams that were primarily motivated by taking, they actually had higher survival rate than the one that were giver. And if you think about it, it's pretty obvious that would be the results, because takers usually think about themselves. They think how to make their goal achieved and make it happen. So of course that if you're a taker, you'll go for it and you'll make any efforts to succeed. However, if you're a giver, you think about others. And these givers sometimes sacrifice their own success for benefiting others. So it's pretty obvious that the takers will take, but then we ask ourselves, okay, what about mixed team? What about when you have the team, within the team, you have some givers and some takers? How does it work? So what we found, that we compared a homogeneous team to diverse teams, and what we found that the diverse team that there were takers and givers had higher success rate than the homogeneous team. So this is another important information that we learned from that study. And the last piece of information that we study is about the givers. We try to understand what's going on with these people, because it's impossible that they are not making that happen. I mean, we all know that there are many examples around the world that founders that started as a giver made a huge success. So we looked back into the data and tried to understand what's going on there. If there is something that can actually mitigate the negative influence of givers on survival. And what we found is that when giver team, they had like high understanding of the market, so they knew who are the customers, they knew how to reach them, they knew exactly what they're paying, actually it led to their success and support their survival. So these three things actually led to enormous implication results that, you know, like, first of all, if you're an instructor and you want to help your teams, first of all, you have to try to help them to have more diversity within the team. So not just about network, not just about information, not just about skills, but also about motivation, because it really enhances their success. So this is one thing. And the other piece of information that's really relevant for instructors is that if you have giver teams, and we want to have givers team because we want the world to become a better place for everybody. So if you have those people within your school, within your industry, within your incubator, what you want to tell them, for your own success, the key to your success is actually focus on the market. I taught for a couple of semesters entrepreneurship course. So I taught my students several things that should take on the way to start their own company. So first of all, it's about your team. You have to feel confident about the people that you work with. You have to trust them. You have to build the trust within the team. So this is one thing that you have to keep in mind. The human capital, it's a really important part. And then the other part is that you have to understand that the process of building company, it's learning process. And you have to be open-minded all the way to clues and information and insight that are coming from inside and from the outside. Because you never know exactly what is the real thing that will make it happen. So if you're open-minded enough and not locked in and in love with your idea, then you can actually extend your horizon. You can extend your dreams and you can make it even bigger than what you thought. But you have to be very tolerant to diversity, to new ideas. Another important piece of information is about conflicts. Conflict is can be perceived as a negative thing because we don't like to be involved in conflict. We don't feel comfortable when we don't share the same perspective. But I would like to take it to the other perspective and say, use those conflicts, enjoy the conflict, learn from these conflicts, try to explore why the other thinks the opposite from you. How can you learn from his different opinion? And then maybe you can enlarge the pool of knowledge and actually grow even bigger. So I would suggest don't be afraid of these conflicts because it's something that can actually help you along the way. And the last piece of advice that I would say to them is that be patient and take into consideration that it's not something that will happen after one day, after 1 week, after 1 year. Sometimes you have to be patient and to give it a try. And if you really believe in that, try to be patient and see how things will go for you.